What is up, Lexity? Brennon here, back on the streets with Spokane, and it snowed about a foot last night. It seems like, and now it's all gonna melt. So we're gonna become soup in Spokane. But I when I originally set out to do this podcast, I was like, I'm gonna do this twice a week, and then like when I started on Tuesday, I was like, this is so much fun. This is exactly what I've been missing in my life, is being able to get out my thoughts and things that I love about Spokane, what I'm doing at the studio, and my pop culture stuff. And I want to say that I spend a lot of time on social media. I read the news. You can, whatever you want to say about politics, whatever, the world is a mess right now. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I want to bring just a little bit more joy back into the world. Like, in my family and at our house, at the Pointer household, we have a saying. It's kind of a new saying that we use, but it's don't yuck other people's yum. And when you get on social media and you just get out in the world, there's just people out there that are just so negative, and they just want to if you say something, they just either want to shit on it, or they want to or one up you, or be a Debbie Downer about it. And I'm probably notorious for doing this with my children. I'm a realist at heart, but when I get around people I don't really know, I become a lot more fun loving and the Brennan that you probably see a lot more of. But I'm working on that with my family, and at our house we say don't yuck other people's yum, and that's why. And I want to do this to bring more joy. So there won't be any negative things on this podcast at the moment. I'll probably go on some rants eventually about the status of our world, but that's not what this is. And I just wanted to put that out there, because I said when I was writing the notes for this, I'm like, daily podcasts until morale improves. That's probably not going to happen, but you're going to get more of a daily dose from me than probably was originally expected, because this is actually really easy to do, to talk in my car for 15 minutes as I drive to work. And so that brings me to my first thing. The Spokane thing is, it's Thursday in Spokane, and if you live in Spokane, you know that there's one constant thing that happens every Thursday, and that is the Inlander comes out. Now, the Inlander is for those who don't know, is a local regional magazine that features arts and culture in the region, and it's been going on since 1994, I believe, 95, and it's just a weekly magazine that lets people know what's going on in Spokane, the shows that are happening. It always has an op-ed piece in there, kind of about some news story, and it's just you can go pick one up anywhere that distributes them in Spokane. I usually find them at grocery stores like Safeway, Yokes, places like that. And I bring this up because I've been grabbing an Inlander for the last probably 20 years of my life every week, and I grab them, and I don't always read them. I maybe wrap presents in them during the holiday season or for a birthday. But as Spokaneites, people who are citizens of our city, we are so lucky to have a free weekly magazine that provides us with information of what is going on in our city. And not all cities have this. I would imagine most mid-sized cities have a local arts publication like this, but not all. And if you live in one of those cities that doesn't have it, let me know. I'd love to know what you have. But it's just such a cool thing to have. I used to grab it all the time so I could find the movie times on the weekend. It always had the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday movie times in it, and you would grab it for that. But then, like, as I got older, I'd get it and I'd find out what's going on in Spokane. I'd read the Best of Inlander issue every year and be like, oh, I want to go eat there. I want to go check that spot out. And so it's a cool thing to have. I've won Best of Local Podcast, I think 2 times for Spokecast and once with the Perimeter with Adam Morrison. So it's I don't always agree what's in the Inlander, but I love that it's there, and you should go pick one up, and you should go see what's going on in our city. So that's my Spokane thing today. My studio thing today is I'm going in to record a podcast with Jordan Tampion and Keith Riddle. They are both real estate developers here in Spokane, and they have a podcast called Chess Not Checkers. And like the podcast I talked about yesterday with Blue Stiley, they also get mostly on local business owners, and basically they just pick their brain, the guest's brain on, how they built their business, like the pitfalls and challenges that they faced in building their business, and also just kind of like shoot the shit with someone. And it's, really just, Jordan and Keith are very busy business owners, and they carve out this time, usually once a week, to sit down with someone they maybe know well, or maybe they don't know well at all, and have an intentional conversation with them with like no phones. And it's just like, and they love it because they not be on their devices for an hour and having to respond to emails or texts or go to this meeting or do this. And it's just, when I started helping people produce podcasts, like that was always like the big thing that people were looking for, is finding ways to be more intentional with your time and conversations with people, because we get so distracted by our devices and our computers and our TVs and all those things, all the things that are constantly like flashing at us, and to carve out like an hour of your time once a week to not have that, to be on your phone or your computer and like have an intentional conversation, is cathartic, and it helps people really think through stuff that are dealing with, or ask questions that maybe they wouldn't think of otherwise, or learn something new. And I know like not everyone has the ability to just start a podcast, but like, I mean, that's why I'm doing this. Like I'm a podcaster, and I don't have as much time as I'd like to do my regular Spokecast podcast, and to be able to like just flip on my phone, put on a microphone, and talk into the camera, and like get my like this kind of like daily diary out is also cathartic. It makes me think about things and how I can do things better. Like last night when I was going to bed, I like had an idea pop in my head of like, I want to do an On the Streets tomorrow, and I want to talk about this, and this. And I was like, if I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't be thinking ahead of like what I'm doing next, or thinking through my ideas. And then, so like when I'm, as I'm doing this podcast, I'm definitely like, I'm thinking about like, what can I talk about tomorrow on, On the Streets? And that's kind of why I'm doing it. And like, not having to edit anything or put an intro and outro to the show is very easy. And then I kind of do some AI stuff to it. I get a transcript so it can help me write a description quickly, and do a couple things like in CapCut to edit like cover photos. And then it's out. It's out on YouTube. It's out on Spotify. And my point to all this, why I'm talking so fast and telling you like how easy it is for me to make a podcast, is like, you can do the same thing. Maybe you don't have a microphone. Maybe you just have a phone. You're just talking to your camera, and it's just like a little diary of things. And maybe you don't publish it and show it to anybody, but like to be able to to talk and be able to like get your creative juices flowing, or to be able to think through some things is invaluable to your to your well-being, and then you can have that in your phone, and you can go back to it and be like, oh yeah, I remember when I was thinking about that. Or like, I do this a lot with myself, is I will just I do this mostly in Chat GPT. I will just think through, like, at the end of last year, I was like, I really want to make a top 10 list of like my favorite games I played in 2025. And I told ChatGPT, like, I think about like 8 video games I played, and like helped me think through other games that came out. And I never released that top 10 list, but maybe I will now that I'm doing this, like, because that's the other point of this, is like I want to talk more about my pop culture things, like what I love about the world. And like maybe I'll do my, not a top 10 list, that's a little too long, but maybe I'll give you my like top 3 and or something like that soon. That's an idea I can just put in here. And now I said it, and I will probably do my favorite video games of 2025. That'll actually be coming in the next week or so, and now I think about it. And that also leads me to my pop culture thing for the day. So this weekend is the Golden Globes, and the Golden Globes is a Hollywood Foreign Press, their award show for Hollywood. And and this is where I say, don't yuck other people's yum. I know not everyone loves Hollywood and what it represents or whatever, but I love award shows. I've loved award shows for the last 30 years of my life, probably. I probably started watching the Academy Awards when I was 10 years or younger with my dad, and it's just like, it's such a fun, you get to see the celebrities. I love watching movies, so I've usually watched at least a couple of the best pictures, and I'm familiar with the actors that are nominated. And it's just like, it's one of these, it's an award show that just, it celebrates the art in our world, and I think it's important, and I think it's fun to celebrate those things. And the Golden Globes have been one of the Hollywood award shows that's been going on for, I think they're the second longest running, and I think it's been close to 80 years that the Golden Globes has existed. So that's happening on Sunday, hosted by Nikki Glazer, and she's a stand-up comedian who's hilarious. She's not as good as as I say, Conan O'Brien. I really love Conan's Oscars last year; they were great. But Nikki's also really, really good. But that brings me to kind of my pop culture thing. Is not just the Golden Globes, but the movies that are being nominated. And I was like, I should go through the best movies of 2025 in each category. And I'm like, we don't have time for that here. This is supposed to be a 15-minute podcast, and I'm already going to be pushing that today. But I will say there are 3 movies nominated that I would implore everyone, I don't know if implore is an actual word, to go watch. And 2 of them you could go watch this weekend if you wanted to. One of them would be a little bit harder. It's in the theaters still. But One Battle After Another, directed by P.T. Anderson, Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn, and I forgot, Chase Infinity is the daughter in it. And I went and saw this movie in the theaters when it first came out with my friend Rob, and I was blown away by it. It was a cinematic masterpiece. It was just like, oh my God, it made me want to, like, this is why going to the movies is so fun. Like, watching One Battle After Another, I watched it in Dolby at the AMC here in Spokane, and it was just such a spectacle, and it's such a good, Leo is just such an amazing actor, but he was so good in it. So I would recommend to go watch that. You could go watch that this weekend. I believe it's on HBO Max, and I believe I saw it on Amazon Prime yesterday. So One Battle After Another, great movie. It's about 2.5 hours, a little long, but like, it definitely try to like watch it in one take, and get rid of your phone in your hand. Don't watch the movie with your phone. Like, make your room that you're watching the movie in very dark, and like so you can like take an experience. Like, if you can go see it in the theater, I don't know if it's available to see in the theater right now. It might be coming back once it's nominated for Oscars. So go see, but watch that this weekend if you can, or try to go see it in the next month or two if it gets re-released back into the theater. Second movie is Sinners, directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan twice. And I will not, if you do not know anything about Sinners, the movie, then I will not tell you anything about it, because the movie starts as one type of movie and then ends as a different type of movie. And it will blow your mind if you don't know what the movie's about. So I watched it on Labor Day in the afternoon with my wife, and I kind of knew what the movie was about, but she did not know what it was about, and she was very surprised. And at the time I watched that was my favorite movie of the year. Last but not least, and there's a lot of other movies that are nominated that I would like to mention, and I'm going to talk about the TV shows probably on my next episode, because my mom sent in a question saying, "What about TV shows? You talk about movies. I talk about TV shows," and I'll talk about TV shows tomorrow because I've watched most of those as well. But the last movie I will say is a movie I saw last week by myself at the AMC, Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Sadfi, starring Timothy Chalamet, and Gwyneth Paltrow's in it as well. And also just such... Timothy Chalamet reminds me of a young Leo, and he's going to be an actor that's just around for years and years and years to come. Just a really fun movie. I don't know if I exactly agree with the themes in the movie of like Marty's decisions that he makes in life, but it's a fun movie, and like Marty Supreme, aka Timothy Chalamet, is like going to like level 10 in this role, and it's definitely worth like to watch. And I mean, and if you can go see it in the theater, go see it in the theater. It is. I will say this so many times as I do this podcast, as this podcast exists, as I talk about movies and pop culture, is there's nothing better than experiencing a movie in the theater. And because you don't have your phone in front of you. I'm notorious for sitting on my phone when I watch a movie and like I usually look up facts about the movie as I'm watching it, or like, who is this actor? Who's this actor? And that really distracts you from like the experience of the movie and doesn't get you completely into it. But when you go to a movie theater, you can't have your phone on. You got to sit there. You got to watch the movie, and you can just take it all in. And so I would say, go watch the movie in the theater. It's such a fun experience, and the movie theaters need to survive. They need to survive, and I know not everyone wants to go to theaters and be in a crowd or be around other people, but like if there's one movie you go see a year, go do it, because when I talk to people and I find out like haven't seen a movie since before COVID, I'm like, what are you doing with your life? There's so much art out here that we can go experience and just forget about life for 2.5 hours, and experience the story. And so I would say those three movies, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Marty Supreme, three of my top movies of the year. All three of those actors are also nominated for Best Actor this weekend. I'd love to see any of them win. And and shout out to Jesse Plemons and Michael B. Jordan for both being nominated. Really making Friday Night Lights proud. So those are my three things for today, January 8th, 2025. Go pick up an Inlander. You can go read some movie reviews in there. I don't know if they might have something about the Golden Globes in there this week. Studio thing, Chestnut Checkers podcast with Jordan Tampion and Keith Riddle. Really good show. Really fun to help produce that. And then 3, Golden Globes this weekend. But also, go watch the other 3 things I mentioned. Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. So this was On the Streets with Brennon. I know I went a little longer today. I'm actually not even driving anymore. I'm parked at my studio. But shout out to everyone who has liked my reels that I've been posting about the podcast. Shout out to anyone who's listened to the podcast. If you're listening to this podcast, you're here at the 20-minute mark or whatever it is, leave a comment in the comment section. On Apple, you can't do that, but on Spotify and on YouTube, you can. Just say, hey, I watched and listened. Like, I would love to hear back from you. Also, send in your questions. I will promise, Mom, I will answer your TV questions tomorrow. And also, shout out to everyone who gave me some birthday love yesterday. Turned 42 yesterday. I don't feel 42. My soul age is more close to, like, I said 36 the other day. I'm feeling maybe closer to 34 right now. Especially since my wife got me this, like, awesome work coat. It's from this brand called Shockaware. That's a streetwear brand based in LA. And she surprised me with it. I think I asked for it for Christmas, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then yesterday it arrived, and she was able to wrap it up. And it's a freaking really comfy coat. I've never had a good workwear coat. I like that I'm supporting a small business in LA that is a really, really, really cool brand called Shockaware. You can buy workwear shirts there that are like Carhartt quality, and they're only $13. So yeah. Thanks again so much for listening. Again, this was On the Streets with Brennon. Until next time, peace.